One night my boyfriend found the photos I'd hidden in the back of my phone. He didn't say a word. Just sat there scrolling slowly, his eyes growing harder with each swipe. "You lied so easily," he said, his voice quiet and cold, left without another word. But the last thing he said before he closed the door left me wondering what he was planning. "My name's Lena. I'm 34. I live in Raleigh, North Carolina. I had a boyfriend, Miles. We were together almost 5 years. Was the first man I ever truly felt safe with. He didn't talk much, but when he did, you listened. Wasn't flashy, not the kind of guy who fills up a room, but he was consistent, patient kind of man who showed love by always showing up." Met him through mutual friends after a really messy breakup. He was a wreck back then, and Miles, he was the calm in the storm, and never rushed me, never pressured me, just gave me space to breathe. Over time, that turned into love. But here's the thing about someone steady and kind: they don't trigger that rush, that dopamine hit. They feel safe. And stupidly, I mistook that for boring work in HR compliance for a company with offices all over the state. Last fall, they sent me to Charlotte for a 2-week stint helping onboard a new team. That's where I met Travis. Ravis was the opposite of Miles: loud, confident, flirty, married to, but that didn't seem to stop him. We were out at a bar with coworkers, and one drink led to thread. Next thing I know, he's leaning into close, saying things no married man should be saying. He should have shut it down instead. I flirted back. Nothing happened that first night, but I thought about him a lot after that too. Much was started texting, joking, then more than Kinji. Kept telling myself it was harmless. It wasn't. Second trip down, we slept together. That was the start of the mess. It didn't feel real at the time. It felt like something in a bubble, something outside of my actual life, like Vegas rules. Whatever happened in Charlotte didn't have to touch me. Leslie hate myself for thinking that it happened to more times after that. I told myself each time it would be the last bit. I was addicted to the thrill, the secrecy, felt wanted in a way that Miles's quiet love didn't make me feel anymore. The last time, in January, I was drunk. Travis and I had just slept together in his hotel room. He grabbed my phone and took some pictures, just of anything too graphic, but I was clearly in a hotel bed. Makeup smeared, hair a messy. Don't know why I took them. Maybe I wanted proof. Maybe I wanted to look at them later and remember how powerful I felt. Maybe I wanted to hurt myself on purpose. I saved them in a hidden folder on my phone, a locked album. I told myself I'd delete them later. I didn't. Fast forward to March, one random Friday night. Miles and I were having a quiet evening in takeout. Netflix, nothing special. I got in the shower, left my phone on the bed. I don't even know why I didn't lock it, or maybe I did, and he knew the password. I don't know. When I came out, he was sitting on the edge of the bed, phone in his hand, screen lit up. Didn't look at me. He just kept scrolling slow, controlled, his thumb dragging over the screen picture by picture. I could tell the exact moment he found the last one, because something in his face changed. His jaw clenched, his eyes turned cold, looked up at me. "You lied so easily," he said. That was all. He got up, set my phone down on the dresser, and walked to the door. I didn't say a word. I couldn't. My throat had closed up. Before he stepped out, he turned and looked at mail. Understand soon in our hand. Then he left. Haven't seen him since. No texts, no calls, no emails. Shut down his social media. He moved out while I was at work the next week. Took only his essentials, left the restat. First I thought that was it. He was done, that I'd spend the rest of my life regretting what I did, but at least it would be private. Then I got the first email. It was from someone at work, a screenshot, no text, just an image. It was one of the pictures, the one from the hotel bed. Then came another, then another, and it wasn't just my co-workers, it was my mom, my sister, my best friend. Simeon. Miles had sent the pictures to people in my life. No explanation, no message, just enough to blow a hole through everything, and that was only the beginning. After the pictures started going around, everything crashed. FASTHR called me and I tried to act confused at first. But they'd already done their digging. Simeon Miles obviously had sent them an anonymous tip. He included exact dates. When I was on work trips, mentioned Travis by name and attached the pictures. As evidence of inappropriate conduct between employees, Travis got fired. He called me once raging, saying his wife had found out everything, that she kicked him out, took the kids to her sisters and filed for divorce within a week. Said it was my fault, that if I hadn't taken the photos, none of this would have happened. Nettie lost my job too, not immediately, but within a few weeks. They didn't say it was because of the affair. They used some vague HR talk about damage to professional integrity, but I knew why, and Miles wasn't. Donnie and night I came home to find a manila envelope on my doorstep, no name on it, just sealed with tape. Inside were printed photos, the same ones, but also copies of emails I'd sent Travis, flirty ones. Some explicit must have gone through my inbox before he left. He printed them all. Taped to the front was a note: "Now you know what it feels like to be humiliated." He wanted to crawl out of my skin. I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. He stayed off social media because I didn't want to see who else had gotten the fallacy. Changed my number, got a new email. But the damage was done. My sister stopped talking to me. She said she didn't want her kids around me until I figured my life out. Me mom cried when I showed up at her place unannounced. Had told me Miles had emailed her to said he didn't want revenge, just the truth to be known. That part stung the most because he didn't lie. He didn't twist anything. He just held up a mirror. Then came the last twist I didn't expect. Turns out Miles hadn't just disappeared. He moved 2 streets over into a house owned by his coworker, Betrayal, a woman I used to think was just a friend. She always made me nervous. But Miles swore they were just close through work. Nothing ever happened between them while we were together. At least, I don't think it did. But now they were living together, and I saw them sometimes, walking the dog, grocery shopping, laughing. She was the safe one now. It was like my whole life had been handed to someone else. I kept telling myself it couldn't get worse, but it did. It started when I went to a small local networking mixer. I'd been out of work for over a month, applying everywhere, trying to rebuild. I figured maybe showing my face, being social, could help me land something, even if it was just temporary. It was a small event hosted at a hotel downtown, just a mix of local businesses. Nothing big. I was nervous, but trying to keep it together. Then I heard someone say my name behind me. Full name. I turned around and saw 2 women whispering, one holding her phone up. They were looking at the pictures. I froze. My stomach dropped. I left immediately, got in my car, and just sat there in the parking garage, shaking. That's when I realized the damage wasn't just personal, it was public. Miles hadn't just sent the photos to people we knew. He leaked them online. I checked later that night. He hadn't posted them himself, but someone had uploaded them to a cheating exposure site with captions: my name, my city, where I used to work, and the worst part, the screenshots of my texts to Travis were right there too, with my name fully visible. I felt sick. I tried to report it, get it taken down, but it was too late. The internet doesn't forget. For a while, I barely left my apartment. I didn't want to see anyone. I didn't want to run into Miles, but one day, I couldn't avoid it. I was in line at the pharmacy, just grabbing some allergy meds, when I looked up, and there he was, 2 people ahead of me, with Betrayal. She had her arm looped through his, holding a bottle of prenatal vitamins. Laughing, I stood there frozen. I don't think they saw me, but my hands were shaking so hard. I dropped my wallet. It made a loud noise. Miles looked over. Our eyes met, and for the first time since he walked out, I saw him truly smile. Not a cruel smile, not smug, just peaceful. That was the moment I knew for sure I was completely replaced, and he was going to be a dad. Not with me. After that day in the pharmacy, something inside me cracked for good. I stopped trying to fix anything. I stopped applying to jobs, stopped calling my family, stopped pretending like I was holding it together. If I didn't leave my apartment for over a week, I ordered food, barely ate it, let the dishes pile up. Every night I'd lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, replaying everything I'd done. The looks on people's faces when they saw the photos. The sound of Miles's voice that last night, quiet, cold, like he was already gone. I thought I knew what guilt was. I didn't. It wasn't just the cheating, it was everything that came with it. The selfishness, the lying, the way I dismissed Miles's love like it was boring, just because it wasn't loud. He was the best man I ever knew, and I destroyed him. A month later, I got a call from my sister. I didn't recognize the number. She must have been calling from work. Her voice was flat. "Mom doesn't want you coming to Dad's memorial. He'd passed away from a stroke." I hadn't even known he was sick. I hadn't talked to them in weeks. My sister said they didn't want the attention, that the drama I caused had already embarrassed the family enough. I didn't fight it. I just said, okay. That night I broke down for the first time, not because I wasn't invited, because I knew they were right. Even if I had gone, it would have made it worse for everyone. I didn't just lose Miles. I lost my job, my family, my reputation, my dignity. I'd built a whole life around being seen as the responsible one, the smart one, the one who had her act together. And all it took was a few months of bad choices to burn it to the ground. Travis tried to reach out once more, said he was living in a motel, that he wanted to talk. I didn't respond. I didn't care. He was never the point. He was just the match I lit to feel alive for 5 minutes. I did run into Miles one last time. It was at a coffee shop. Months later. He was alone this time. I almost turned around when I saw him, but I couldn't. I just froze. He saw me. Our eyes met. He didn't smile. He walked over, calm, like always. "You okay?" he asked. I nodded, but I wasn't. "I'm sorry," I said. He looked at me for a long time, then he said, "I hope you figure out why you did it. Not for me, for you." Then he walked away. I cried in my car for an hour after that. That was the last time I saw him. Miles and Brielle had their baby 2 months ago. A girl. I saw a photo online by accident. Someone I used to work with posted it. She looked happy. He looked free. I don't date anymore. I'm not ready. I don't think I will be for a long time. I go to therapy twice a week. I'm still unemployed, living off savings, thinking about maybe going back to school or moving to a new city where no one knows my name. I live every day with what I did. Cheating didn't make my life exciting. It made it empty. It cost me the one person who never gave up on me until I gave him a reason to, and the truth is, I deserve to lose.